Hey, good morning, everyone. This is Midnight Brands coming to you on Tuesday, June 6th, 2023. Going to go ahead and go through prep here today. Got through all the different stuff, but going to also try to keep it short so we can get out, get some other things done. I also got a handful of other meetings and stuff here early this morning, so jump right into it. Just as a simple, quick reminder, as always, we are not financial analyst advisors. Nothing we say or do should ever be taken as any kind of a buy or sell recommendation. You can see the rest of our full disclosures on our Midnight Brand Substack page with the rest of the details. No econ that I saw here today, at least no major stuff. I'm sure there's probably something else like EIA numbers or something like that. But like the major stuff, at least out of this particular source, didn't have anything major for the U.S. side here. Jumping right into things here. Let's reset the zoom there. So SVXY, pretty clean levels. You could actually have taken this up if you wanted for that top level to grab the full ADR in the tier 1 daily cheat. That's your call. Just with kind of where things are sitting, it just it seemed a little bit much to us at this point on that one there. SVXY at the moment is trading same place it was last night, or this earlier today when we grabbed the screenshot. So basically unchanged from last night's close. So now I will say, if we do, and I didn't mark this on today's chart, if we do decide to take out this full ADR and stuff, then watch. This is a much older, higher time frame structure here. I don't remember going back to like 2018 or 2017 or something. So that's like the much higher time frame structure stuff there. So keep an eye out for that in the tier 1 and the week cheat, or the stuff up higher. But keeping in mind, like, we are definitely getting up there. We are higher than we were even back in February now on the on SVXY as relates to the sell side symmetrical extreme. Also, just call out here, we did add this full ADR swing anchor VWAP monthly trend guide reversal 1, so we're already above MR1 as it were, but monthly trend guide reversal in this case getting close to going up and wanting to tag MTGR2. So pretty good jumps there on SVXY, but generally speaking pretty clean. Definitely getting some big extensions there on that side there. Moving over to VIX, continues to kind of track towards that higher time frame ABCD. Popped up a little bit yesterday, but really just kind of popped and then faded back, even though there was that one little pull and reversal there right into, I guess, about 130, give or take. So on this one, we did add this WPP structure, tier 2 and tier 1 end of week cheats. This is a little bit wider than it wants to pick up and expand upon, just given the range here. I mean, it was a whopping 60 cents yesterday, and I'm being gracious rounding there. So did add that one. Again, it's not picking some of these things up because this range is getting super small on VIX there. Of note, though, as I was mentioning in one of our rooms here, is we are starting to get much deeper into the buy-side symmetrical extremes on VIX. So can it go lower? Yeah, absolutely. It could continue. Could it stop right here? I mean, you can see, like, back in April of 22, like, we dug even deeper than we were here back in February. But now we're kind of at that same spot we were in February earlier on the VIX in the distance on the symmetrical extreme side there. In general, though, pretty straightforward on VIX. Moving on to SPY, start zoomed out and we'll zoom in. So definitely getting up here on the sell side SC for it. It tagged one of the upper bounds there on that particular side there. It is currently trading at 426.87, so up a little bit from where we grabbed the screenshot here earlier this morning, but lower than yesterday's close so far. It's got some interesting stuff in here. So we combine this TGR gap fill. Actually missed dragging the zone up there, but I would treat this really, in my mind, as one zone. Maybe drag up the TGR a little bit so it's not quite so low. But yeah, you've got that, and then above there, we added this weekly trend guide reversal block with structure there at that 431. Down here, lower, I mean, the rest of the stuff's pretty straightforward, matches exactly, but in this one, we actually changed it from a div to a zone, so expanded it to grab the weekly pivot. Obviously, pay attention, you've got the swing anchor VWAP in there on that one, and the tier 1 daily cheat there too. I don't really like the full ADR block with last week's high. It's there, and you know, just given that how big of this gap here between these two, I mean, shit, why not go and test that and then reverse off of it? Just seems too obvious. So if we're here, you know, maybe do the div and skip from 423, get a big wick down, collect that gap fill, and reverse back. I don't know. We'll have to see, watch and see what happens. But and then lower, further down below, right, you got your swing anchor VWAP, weekly trend guide, tier 2 daily cheat, weekly photo ADRs. So you're also going to have the daily anchored VWAP in here. You can see it's right there. And this does kind of get back to, this was a little bit of a downslope trend line that we tried, failed, retested and worked. So maybe in this case what we actually do is we come down and maybe it's even a little bit later this week, maybe we come down and the look comes up into this block here now, and we test right there at the 420-ish level. So have to watch and see, but should be an interesting one on SPY. Over onto the Qs. So a couple things here. So combined this upper zone of quarterly, weekly trend guide pivots along, trend guide reversal, along with the AR1 gap fill and supply and demand high. That's a very old gap fill. That's from April of last year. Underneath, it's kind of a meh zone. It's supply and demand low, full ADRs. Full ADRs will have moved. Qs are at 354.67. Not a lot though, actually. We closed, what's that? 354.90. So we're basically unchanged. So full ADRs might actually remain up there, which would be pretty interesting on that one. Let's see, what else do we have here? So expanded this trend guide reversal zone. You know, so we have the closes obviously there from yesterday, the combo high volume node, but also dragged it up to include the supply and demand and weekly trend guide reversal. So taking us up to the 358 block basically. In this particular one, so this, you know, I went back and forth debating about this. So that could be combined as one bigger zone like I drew, or what you could do is just treat it as two separate, right? So kind of watch against this wick and this wick, the low volume node there, the swing anchor VWAP from June 1st off of this candle where you pulled back and then reversed. So watch it as one zone there and then the other one right here. You're calling how you want to treat that. That's how I carved it up on my charts. Lower, again, kind of a meh zone here. You could take it down to include that high volume node. Certainly some bar closing pieces here make it interesting. In fact, I might actually do that after we finish here. Is drag that down to capture that. And then just our last basic one there, right? So combo high volume nodes, supply and demand, weekly photo ADR. So pretty basic and clean on Qs. ES, not as much. Relatively speaking, I've seen worse, but this particular block here really kind of made me think, all right, these are super, super close to each other with trend guide reversal, quarterly trend guide, and then right beneath it, you got trend strength reference point and monthly trend guide reversal. Just they're so damn close, and I did adjust and drag these up and drag them down a little bit, right? So like with trend strength, I'm not worried about the combo point of control. Damn, I gotta close this. not the right decision. Probably going to reverse off me from there. In any event, that's definitely a tough one. That's how I view it. Would certainly love other folks' opinions or thoughts there, but that's just kind of how I viewed that. Mark them really both as inside, because that's what they are in terms of the last few days of structure. I mean, they're inside of that stuff. What that did allow is to go ahead and drag and mark this down here for highs right there. I'll include the NVPOC, photo ADR, tier 1 daily cheat, and that supply and demand. Above that, expanded this one here to include the weekly trend guide reversal and NVPOC. Certainly go up there a little ways. Makes it a wider zone, but it's kind of like if we're going up there, why not go collect some other pieces of evidence as opposed to just stopping right at the full ADRs. And then we added this, and we decided to really push and move today. Supply and demand, tier 3 daily cheat, monthly trend guide reversal 2. There's the tier 1 end of week cheat right there, so we'd be keeping that in mind. But a lot of times, the goal is for these expected moves, cheats, is for the market makers to keep it inside of this for the end of the week. So certainly a lot of cases where we did tests on this, go through, and then reverse back off of it. When there is the time, a lot of times we'd come up into these and just sell some calls or sell some puts, and we end up closing beneath them. Might even be the next day we pull back pretty significantly, and you can close them out for 30, 40, 50% profit, pretty quickly. It's pretty nice on one day. Downside zones, all pretty straightforward. We'll note the one here. This is zone 7-1 with the full ADRs. You got this trend line coming up to join here, as well as the May 24th. Actually, it looks like May 24th is the closer one, not the May 31st. But there is the May 31st daily anchored VWAP between these two here. But the trend line is closer to the full ADR, which also will have the daily anchored VWAP from there. Don't know there's much else here. 50, 60 points. We're definitely, it looks like we're going to start to compress on the range here is my guess, based upon how yesterday was, but we'll just have to wait and see. NQ, not a whole lot to add here other than we expanded this big zone up here. AR1 weekly trend guide reversal, tier 1 end of week cheat, bigger structure, NVPOC up there as well on weekly photo. Underneath a little bit smaller, right? So gap fill from April of 22 there, which lines up. There was the Q or SPY one up there. I don't remember which now. Just go back and look. Yeah, gap fill for Qs. So, shit, sorry for jumping around. Just trying to remember something there. Yeah, so then moving down, photo ADR, supply and demand, NVPOC. I don't really care about this zone as much, candidly. It's there, it's something. Photo ADRs really just gets to yesterday's ADR, given that it was 182. Would probably pay more attention to these zones up here and see what and how we progress. Did expand up this zone here to combine these two. So trend guide reversal, expand up to grab yesterday's highs, and the weekly trend guide reversal. It's definitely a bigger zone. You certainly could just treat it as TGR to the top edge of supply and demand. Then you're immediately drawing another block for weekly trend guide reversal to yesterday's highs. And so just, would I scale across the entirety of it? Probably not, but I'd definitely be paying really super close attention. We come back up into this zone here to see what's happening. That said, what's to stop? Like, you look back on February here. We've taken out the April symmetrical extreme. We didn't get way up there, although Apple did just touch its it's symmetrical extreme. So that could be the clue to go back and reset here. Come all the way back down and into the other end. As you can see here, a lot of times, right? Go up SE, maybe trail along for a little bit, reset a tiny bit, but then go tag the other side. So let's see what else in here. So trend guide, you get a swing anchored VWAP from June 1st added off of this candle there. Dick for ticket on Friday there. But yeah, that's a pretty nice zone. I think the rest of this stuff is pretty straightforward, pretty clean there. Flip over to RTY. Won't spend a lot of time here. Just basically updates or changes. So added this big block up here at the highs if we decide to really get moving. RTY actually exceeded its full and photo ADRs yesterday, putting in a bigger move day. So if we decide to do something similar, kind of noted this bigger zone up here, and then noted this weekly pivot swing anchor VWAP combo high volume node right here in the middle there of that one, especially since we've been trying to reject still off the 200-day. Saw tons and tons of people in saying, "Oh, that's it, we're done on RTY," and so just what's to kind of come back and maybe do one more retest, maybe a small div, and then continue the trend that everybody's looking for. I mean, that would be probably more frustrative of a move to frustrate both the bulls who are thinking that, yep, we're done, we're stopping, going down, and would also frustrate the bears because they think they're going to short it to the ground, and then it reverses off of them. So in any event, I don't think there's anything else to add in here on this one. Moving over to YM. Pretty straightforward on the zones here. We did add this one, yesterday's high, plus the closes off of YM there. You can see, like, got the highs, and then after that we came up, we had two little pokes above, and then we couldn't even get bar closes. So you got that as a zone. Realized that as we were marking the stuff up, along with the tier 2 daily cheat, and then the rest of the stuff's all kind of right there. Like again, this, yeah, I picked it up, but I don't know if I really will care about full ADR supply and demand there. It's there, keep an eye, but and then we added this one here. So weekly trend guide, weekly photo, gap fill. Missed just drawing that up there a little bit, so you've got that one. And actually on this zone here with the quarterly pivot full ADRs, do note you do have an NVPOC just right there at the far bottom edge of that from June 1st. Closing off, jump into CL and GC, and then we'll wrap it here. It's a little bit longer than 15 minutes so far. So big push yesterday and then fail. I think we missed grabbing part of the candle there. Oops. In any event, I mean, it was pretty much all day fade. Came down, tag, came back up. Couldn't even get above anywhere close to that candle. Didn't even want to get above this combo high volume node. Or for that matter, even the look with 50-day and swing daily anchor VWAPs right there. So it was actually a nice op to have taken that off of a short there, kind of a cont, and I mean, look at that. I mean, that's pretty big. In fact, I'd almost be willing to bet that there's going to be an ABCD here on that one. Not your typical ABCD, but something. In any event, other changes here. Added this gap fill, combo high volume node, daily anchor VWAP, and weekly photo. So this has been the one that's been holding overnight here. Just looking to see where it is. So it's still kind of just right above that zone there, holding that daily anchor VWAP and NYMEX gap fill right at that spot. I mean, kind of interesting. There's also in here, I didn't write it out on the screen, but also right in this block, this div here, is the tier 1 daily cheat. And then I also noted there's this trend line here off the May 31st lows really good touches on the first there. So you potentially come down a little bit later, maybe we tag this, just hit the trend line, come back. It is kind of a really fresh and somewhat weak in terms of just the number of touches there. So but yeah, in any event, I mean, you can see like we are trying to hold that that daily anchored VWAP right off of that one. Other pieces just we added below here, so you know we have the weekly and full ADRs right here, you know, as a bucket, but what's to stop us from shooting right through and going back to retest some of the stuff? So we added weekly trend guide reversal, tier 2 daily cheat. There's the end of week one right there, but at this point I'd really kind of be watching for last week's low, supply and demand, structure too, obviously there, given it's supply and demand. But you've got that stuff there again with some of the bar closes too, is whatnot. And if we decide to get really moving, I break through this. Let's go grab, I guess, the MTGR monthly trend guide reversal, quarterly trend guide reversal. This would be a 3 standard deviation move on the expected move stuff, so that'd be pretty massive on that front there. GC, and then we're going to wrap GC upside, pretty clear zones. Let me just check to see where GC is at. It is trying to come up into this zone here still. Combo high volume nodes, supply demand, 20-day EMA. I would almost be willing to bet, like, if you anchored a daily anchored VWAP right there off of that one, you'd have something. Certainly not off of the swings, just with how things are set up, it's not going to be there. In fact, we even anchored a swing, perhaps just to double check ourselves off of that candle, and it ended up somewhere down over here, so excuse me. If I look through here, I don't really actually care about this trend guide. I mean, I probably should have marked it actually as orange. It's so inside of all this recent range, and even candidly this one here too is definitely inside of all this stuff. It is a big zone, especially if there is a supply and demand, or a daily anchor VWAP there. And let's just actually double check that since I still have GC loaded. I doubt that it's actually going to be the one now that I think about it. Nope, no, I take it back. There is one right there, so alright, sorry about that. It just went ahead and updated the commentary there. So yeah, that actually makes that a much bigger zone with daily anchor VWAP and stuff right there at that zone. So I won't be around for that. We're going to leave here in just a minute. But any of you got that, again, this inside kind of a meh. Certainly gets into a bigger zone here. You're up into your tier 1 end of week cheat, your tier 1 daily, weekly trend guide. And you can see this was even like the IV high, weekly IV stat high last week is also IV high from Friday there too. So decent zone, potential div maybe to collect that gap fill. Otherwise, come up here and test this structure that we double tapped on and then failed off of last week. And so there you get your photo and full ADRs up here along with your monthly pivot still. In that combo high value area. Decide to skip past there, you get your weekly photo and really kind of a whole bunch of open stuff above there, and I didn't note any of that here today. Below, I don't think there's anything really to call out and note here on this. Certainly, interesting zone here with the trend strength, weekly pivot. And the swing anchor VWAP there came right down into last night and is pushing, like I said, off of that here at this point. So yeah, that is it, folks. I don't see any questions in the stream at the moment, so As always, if you come back and watch this after the fact, you got any questions, comments, whatever else, you know, if you put a little time hack in there, like 10:02, blah, 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 then we'll know exactly what you're talking about, where your question was. We can go back into it and kind of share what some of the thoughts and ideas were around that particular block of evidence. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully y'all had a great Monday, and we'll continue to have a great week, and we will catch y'all later. Thanks. Bye now.